So before you all get your pitchforks and torches out, let me clarify what I mean by bad. Obviously, Pinkie Pie is not a bad character. Obviously, Pinkie Pie is amazing. She's awesome. We get so many things with Pinks that, like, I could not live without as far as MLP goes. Arguably, the best season 1 episode is a Pinkie Pie episode. Um, so many of her songs are incredible. Like, so many. There's probably too many to mention without making a dedicated video, and there's no point in that. She's incredibly dynamic as a character because usually we get the bubbly, happy Pinkie Pie, and then we get Pinkamena, and Pinkamena is just amazing. Her family, like the entire Pie family, is amazing. In particular for myself, Marble and Limestone, I love these two. They are literally the cutest pony to me in the entire series, and literally my spirit animal. I feel like Limestone is my character in real life. What I mean by bad is...
Don't you know who I am?
More guessing games. Hokey Smokes. How about Queen Mimi? No, Black Snooty, Black Snooty. Whoa!
I'm so sorry. I missed you so much, big sister. I've missed you too.
Hey, you know what this calls for?
So those two moments are only the first 2 episodes, but they're incredibly, incredibly important moments. First, we had the introduction of Nightmare Moon, who is the first villain, and while she's not around, she still should be established as a villain, as something that is menacing and intimidating. And unfortunately, while Moon is fairly intimidating, we also get that part with Pinkie Pie, where she's joking and she's trying to guess her name. I personally think it's really funny. I think Black Snooty is I think it's a really funny part, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's better to have your villain be kind of brought down because the menace and the intimidation behind that villain is lessened because of joking, or not. Then we have this moment with Celestia and Luna. This is a reunion between sisters after 1,000 years of being separated. Personally, I think that the sisters have the best, like, plot in the entire show. I think that had a more mature show been able to be made, it should have centered around this conflict between the sisters, how it came about, and why they were separated. Not short, not, oh, Luna was unhappy because of this, but a build up to that and everything. I think that could have been a really great show. And I think that this part with Pinkie Pie, where she falls forward and then she cries and it's just like a joke again, I think it really, really hurts the impact of that scene as far as it being serious and, oh, this is beautiful. These sisters who have been apart for so long, they finally have come to terms. One has forgiven the other, and they've forgiven each other, and they're back together now. And I think that really is not good, and it's Pinkie Pie's fault. So I kind of want to talk about tone right now. I'm not an expert or anything on the subject, but for me, and as far as I understand it, tone is kind of the feeling of what you're trying to convey to the audience based on how you want to tell your story. So, for example, if you want to, you could tell a story that's about, like, killing and eating people, but it could be funny, right? So, for example, like Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead mostly has a tone of comedy, whereas a movie more like Dawn of the Dead has more of a serious tone, a more dramatic tone. Here's a definition, I guess, from a place online called Masterclass Teaching How Film Goes. And tone is usually conveyed through these things right here. I think music, dialogue, and atmosphere are really important, especially for MLP. So we obviously get a lot of different kinds of tone, or episodes with different tones and the like. Like, obviously, we have completely off the wall, jokey episodes, and we have more serious episodes, and everything in between, I think. Well, a lot of stuff in between. My issue with Pinkie Pie is that she is the lighthearted, fun one most of the time. Don't get me wrong, they do switch up the tone when Pinkie Pie is around, when she's the focus of episodes. Like I said before, Party of One, and when she goes Pinkamena, obviously the tone they're trying to attain there is more serious, right? But they still keep it skirting like the line between serious and jokey, because like when she's surrounded by the inanimate objects and she's speaking for them and stuff, it's kind of up to you how you take that. She's going crazy, and that's not really funny, but some people might find that funny, and it's kind of hard to get the tone that they're like trying to convey, which is why Pinkie is so difficult most of the time anyways. But focusing on, again, my question of, is she a bad character? For example, again, with the Nightmare Moon part and the Celestia and Luna part, the tone they're going for on the Nightmare Moon part could be jokey. They're lowering the tone from more dramatic, the villain has just appeared, to more lighthearted, and that's fine. They can do that. With the Celestia and Luna thing too, they're lowering the tone from, again, dramatic and sad. These two sisters have reunited after a millennia, to more of a jokey, lighthearted feel. And again, that's fine. The writers can do whatever they want. My question is, would these moments be better had Pinkie Pie been reined in more so, and not been the device to change the tone from a more serious moment to a more lighthearted moment? If you're familiar with the MCU, and let's be honest, who isn't? I'm going to speak on the old MCU. I didn't watch the one... I didn't watch Endgame. I watched Infinity War and everything before it, and then after that I stopped watching. So I'm going to be talking about like old ones like Iron Man and Captain America, Thor, those ones. So regardless, even if you watch the new ones, the MCU has always stood on the fence. They do a lot of dramatic stuff, but they do a lot of jokey stuff. And even in dire moments, there are a lot of moments that are comedic. You'll get Tony Stark fighting an enemy and he'll crack a joke. You get Thor fighting an enemy and he'll crack a joke. You get all of these moments, and they tried to inject a lot of comedy into the MCU along with the drama. But when they do these heartfelt, dramatic moments, they will usually take the comedy and put it on the back burner until either after the scene or before the scene. And you could say that too with, well, they did that with Pinkie. She did this. They were done with the Celestia and Luna and that. But the thing is that the MCU has these really serious moments, and they're not used as jokes. All of MLP's moments, even the very serious moments, I think, have to be brought down, according to the writers, to a more jokey tone. And I don't understand why, because we get moments like Tyrek, we get moments like Chrysalis taking over everything, we get moments like just literally all of the villain like winning or taking over moments. They're all very much lighter tone. I'll show some here.
With these.
Oh well, if anyone needs me, I'll be outside in the chocolate puddles with a giant swivel straw.
The elements, they're gone! That chamber is protected by a powerful spell that only I can break. This doesn't make sense.
Okay, so first off we have the Return of Harmony Part 1. And in this scene we get what is essentially a disaster. Discord is loose. And that's really bad because Discord is worse than Moon. And Discord is powerful. And they have a weapon to fight against him, which is the Elements of Harmony. And Celestia has that weapon. And it's been taken. So the tone here is supposed to be one of panic. It's supposed to be one of, oh crap, we have one way to solve this, and it's been taken or lost. And they just do a joke with Pinkie right in the middle of it. And for some reason, I guess they knew the tone needed to be consistent, so right after the break, they just immediately make Pinkie stand there like that didn't happen. I guess it's funny, sure, but is it worth breaking the tone of the scene and then having to reestablish it 1 second later when Celestia is worried and walking back and forth? You judge that. In this scene, we have the battle for Canterlot. Celestia just got wrecked by a Chrysalis. Luna is nowhere to be found. Cadenza and Shining Armor are out of it. And we have a fight to determine what happens. Literally the fight that's supposed to determine the fate of basically the entire pony world. And everyone is fighting, and it's kind of lighthearted, but then Pinkie just takes it to another level, and she's playing with a changeling who is willing to entertain her and do what she wants. And then we get this stupid shooting Twilight like she's a cannon by twirling her tail. I would assume that because this is a climax episode and because the princess literally just lost, we might have some seriousness in a moment that could determine the fate of the entire Equestria, but again, Pinkie Pie is used to just be a joke, and we get this again.
Be ready to fight. We don't know what's gonna come through that door.
Welcome! I'm so pleased to have you here. Oh.
This is Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Twilight Sparkle.
Forgive my bluntness, but I'm assuming it's Princess Twilight Sparkle? We don't get many alicorns around here.
Yes, but Twilight is fine.
So, how did you hear of our little village?
It's kind of a long story. Let's just say we found it on a map. Technically, it's a tree chest castle map.
This one is probably the most egregious to me personally, because I think the psychology and the tense tone behind Starlight's episodes, her introductory episodes, is really, really good. There's this weird uncomfortableness with these episodes, with the first one especially, because you're not supposed to know that Starlight is crazy, but you have all these hints, and there's this general discomfort. And Pinkie is still there, just like being comic relief and like having interjections of jokes when there's not really any need for it. I just don't find they are funny. I'm not denying that Pinkie isn't funny and her moments aren't funny. I'm just saying, does this make these scenes better because there's a little bit of laughter in, or would having a consistent tone and keeping it very uncomfortable, especially in this Starlight case, better?
You think friendship will save you? We will always return. Nothing will ever stop.
Chocolate rain?
Don't look at me.
Pinkie, you took Discord's magic from the bell? How do you feel? Tingly, itchy, also like...
I can transform the cosmos so everything is made of icing!
Perhaps maybe I should...
Finally, we have the last episode. Well, the second to the last episode, but the last finale battle, blah, blah, blah. And you have this really dramatic moment with Chrysalis, who is awesome. I freaking love Chris. Declaring how, screw you guys, we don't care, friendship sucks, and I am going to defy you until my death. And then a cupcake falls on her, and it's like, okay, sure. And then Pinkie does her little chaos thing, and it's like, sure, we are having the resolution of the entire series of 3 different villains of 200 plus episodes. We are having the conflict resolution for all of that, and we're just gonna end it with Pinkie joking. It's really funny because Pinkie has chaos powers. I'm sure a lot of people liked that. I'm sure a lot of people like a lot of garbage. But it's just really disappointing to me to see, because it's just a joke again at the end when it should be heartfelt or emotional or something of that sort. So yeah, I'd like to get some thoughts. I had a discussion with a friend about this, and they were adamant that MLP's got its particular tone, and that's what it's supposed to be. And I understand that. I understand that the tone is whatever the writers wanted it to be. But tone can be exactly that, whatever the writers wanted it to be. So the question I'm posing, and the question that I want answered preferably by you, my viewers, or by a group, is, does Pinkie Pie's shenanigans add to the more dramatic aspects of the stories? Like when they fought Discord, like when they fought Sombra, like when they fought Chrysalis, like when they fought Tirek, like when they fought Starlight, like when they fought all of these villains. Do Pinkie Pie's shenanigans and her goofiness add to that story and flesh it out and make it better to you? Or is it something that you wish was reserved for the slice of life and fun episodes? Personally, I prefer to have my comedy and my drama separate. It's okay to have lighthearted moments in drama, but to have complete just comedy that breaks tone, I think that's really, really bad. And that's the entire point of this video. I think that Pinkie, her character, is not bad, but the way that the writers of the show used her in dramatic moments is bad. She's amazing. She's fun. She's not bottom of the main 6. I just think that had they utilized her better, specifically in dramatic episodes, that would have made those dramatic episodes even more, because she's usually fun. My examples for that are like Pinkie Pride, where that episode was very, very, very fun because of Weird Al and Cheese, but also very, very dramatic because of Pinkie Pie's sad moments when she wasn't joking around. The exact same with Party of One. In those episodes, they utilize Pinkie Pie's sadness very well because she's usually happy, and it makes the dramatic parts of those episodes even better. But in the dramatic episodes overall, for the entire series, when really bad stuff is happening, Pinkie Pie usually isn't affected by that. She's usually just the comic relief to bring down the tension, which I think hurts tone. And I think that's why the season 6 finale was so good in the sense of drama, because Pinkie Pie was not a part of that. The main 6 weren't part of that. It was just Starlight, Trixie, Thorax, and Discord. And like, Discord is kind of a similar character, so it's not good as well, but Discord is less of a goofy character and more of a menacing, fun character. But yeah, what do you all think? Am I wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I had fun making it. I have fun making episodic stuff. Hopefully y'all see you on the next one. Later.